That's why I come a Chaco toothpaste. I pause here Samara Company Limited. Yeah, the Abba. Yes, yeah, Eddie Ama, FT, Obia William Vigencia, a copy Metusela no so. Mama Day sounds sabe to me, I can be now what to me, Eddie Acruz in Abua. Kaisa FDA for I do Musa, I shall say a year. Chaco toothpaste or say a happy smile. I want my young child and police arrest protesters of occupied Julobi House. Here go.
Alaska, my men Sanchi be a mention what here for. I think so. Where near my see and right, very, very shameful, and a big level certain imprint be on our democracy. A very big blotter. I think say young to be get away with because you know say and right a very special day.
Very well.
In our democracy way because enra day and I de kai and chroma. I think say you declare enra a holiday.
Very well.
I Ghana 40 I try to for share kwanya ye journey, democratic journey, how far we have come. And the akoye no the enkoye. And some Ghanaians are among terrorists, are among foreigners living in their own country decided, say, looking at how far things have gone bad in this country, you know, they can just sit up and shut up. Because my culture said evil will continue to fledge when good men decide to go quiet.
Very well.
So whenever you see say evil is fledging, that is when good men must rise to the occasion and tackle it heads on. And that is what people decided to do yesterday. Said Nema Akoso elsewhere Alaska, you will not have this luxury of a man for TSC Krum, say a demonstration yes say elsewhere, Sankomunya ya sabin komak omoni beje. Assisi Bebrea, it was not demonstration. Some it was coup d'etat, some your friend is some kind of attack, nay a whole lot degenerating into whole lot of violence in the sub-region. But here, people decided to employ demonstration, which is a legitimate democratic tool. Anybody who is dissatisfied no can employ. They are and are establishing and are demonstrating the grievances to the establishment. And that is exactly what the youth of this country decided to do yesterday, by ensuring say their voices will be heard. Because at this point in time, Alaska, if you look at the evil across on this particular land, you cannot just shut up. So these people, none of them and they are armed, none of them and they call hokure to a tire and I say a war. A peaceful demonstration and trying to send a message to the establishment say baby a nema kwako druno Alaska emuyeden, and this particular way kwa there and then partisan movement even waka say sabi obi air try say or score political and I say political point to be out of anything Alaska. And the youth of this particular country who have consistently been asking say the problems of this particular country must be solved. And no, that is all that they are asking. Elsewhere, people are not asking for that. Elsewhere, no, I'm for the 2 as a kind, then as a 4, and they meet the establishment asking the right thing to be done. Alaska, so me who the besia are buying better police for watching, and this is not the first time this thing is happening. Police, you know, over the years, you know, you should this strategy of say. Your friends say, I just a license. I just a permit from the police in for Alaska. Let us put it on record. Say obit your mind in in a civilized democratic dispensation. Nani pana enye happy. What the name air cost to not person or register new protest in the only duty that person has is to inform the police, but he does not need the express consent of the police.
From the police.
Police in humanity and provide security. So I am informing you, say, bra, baba ya hobai. After all, you have to demonstration about police in Mobia hobai. It will go or at the BNC. So you are only telling the police, say, Alaska, or Momra, now or Momma assistance. You all inform them, say, this is what you want to do. And this are all analyzing it. Now who say protest in the national security implications, and then you move in to offer protection. Alaska, people who are doing demonstration, we are talking about some intelligent young men, Alaska, who have decided not to go the violent way, but have decided to employ tools, our constitution, you know, demonstration, protestation, remonstrations, and those things, you know, and I will move you as a legitimate tool to add their grievances to power. Alaska. police for any crime, police for any power. There is no law anywhere that empowers the police to say, yes, obinya or more express consent and say what you may demonstrate. It is not done anywhere.
Very well.
But about conventional. Say, what talk about police for say you want to demonstrate? It's just a matter of formal way of informing you because you are in charge of security. Unless police for no war, some intelligence will be say activities no more no our certain damn national security consequences be as or more move in and on once Sunday now maybe a bit that is the only point. But even those reasons must be justified within baby as it make sense. You can't just wake up and say, but about the a pointer, so we had demonstration. I just said police in my answer, which is never done anywhere, Alaska. And we have seen this consistent streaker. Anybody be even with the express permission of the police, Alaska, your body patching performing as for and they see a man for a more peaceful demonstration. Police 40 year book me from, and I saw a video. Na Bridget Otu, a woman journalist, Oba Sabi, what fear say or cover demonstration. Look at how she was molested by a trained professional police officers in Nasafon. Because Alaska, my culture said, when this police force, when this police establishment and a police force now, yes, it's about police service, a didn't necessarily a police service, but again, a dear chino, and still a force. That is why they employ this brutalities in getting away with near 1% more because Alaska, in a civilized dispensation where you see that people are aggrieved doing demonstration, and you see now they shall say our America, where black, yes, Black Lives Matter, the cause of France and then so forth. Protest no here. Alaska, where you see demonstrators would deliberately go and stand in front of a police officer and they'll be insulting them. But at that point, when you're a police officer on your own, you are there representing the state. So you need to have a big stomach to be able to swallow every nonsense that will come. That is why I want to you train you as a professional. Nipana Oba demonstration in your way training. He's an angry citizen. What are we lucky? Say Oba 142 and first kind or the nano and a bear protesting. And that person, you don't meet them with such brutality. Then as for Alaska, the police do all these things and they get away with it. And the Ababaya an established convention where police for no free say ya kasa for Hanawan for hire or who can say ya bo ya videos all over. Police for a boo a man for pia man for from during demonstration because that is near my area. And that is why sometimes when I see people on social media praising Sundan Parasron and as a foreigner, my catch and say, yes, he's doing some good somewhere. Alaska, where we want to take our police to know, because still there are certain high standards, your policy no falling below.
Sure.
And when it comes to yes, even in the face of extreme provocation, how as a professional, how as a trained man, you are supposed to behave. When a police officer is under stress, how do you deal with the situation? Alaska, we've had instances said the police in the but this thing can never done anywhere because you are a trained professional. The way I was thinking everything must always and always be within the remedy. But shows sabi emotionally you can't go berserk. But we have had instances where they emotionally go berserk and they do things and they get away with all these things. Alaska, and as my agent say, idea course and it's so shameful, it's so embarrassing, and it's a blot on our democracy. And I think that will leave a very indelible imprint on our conscience forever. No, we are going to live to remember this because we've gotten to a time your president, the UN Assembly, and make the address. Telling America and as a forum say Alaska they are hypocrites in as a forum. Say the world order must change. Your president can say there is the need for America to pay for the crimes in Africa and as a forum, trying to putting something on paper just to score cheap political popularity at the worst stage in that because Wakai said Gaddafi Numko cancer and send some nubima a man for putu or more on the your friends say a man for take your mon seven to a highest level. John also when at your own backyard, Alaska, you will not even tolerate and allow peaceful demonstrators to air their frustration because Alaska, it's not as if we are crying out of nothing. We are crying in the face of Alaska. Nema air cost wasabi. Would they? We need to home and as I won't get home baby. We live in a country where economy na yete ho nankasa crash. Alaska, as we speak, Ghana has officially declared bankrupt. You write it to your debtors internationally, telling them that we have defaulted, we can't pay. This is a country. You come once Alaska. Yet your money want a car many years to the stand say your debt to your GDP and I eclipse it over almost 100%. Alaska, we are talking about a country that is debt stricken to the stand that we cannot even employ. We are talking about a country and a cap in hand begging IMF for your fans a redemption. When you're president, I'm making an infamous statement. I said then Ghana beyond aid. Your friend saying rhetorica taking over everywhere. So Ghana is your friend saying a proud nation. Young beg a cap in hand and I say for every year president and I'm international conferences. I say well your friend is an emissary. Or beg for arms in it, Nasa for them, Alaska. So in some yade ya no canon no Ghana for I can same way because that is the reality at our grounds. And Neman Koye, and again, this human right abuses in Nasa for over the years, here come once under the watch of somebody who pretends or a human right activist. Sabi. Over the years, I've seen a life we now will live safeguarding the right of people. Under him as president, people cannot even express their views. There will be a crackdown on you. We know the number of instances that the SSC, the ACOSO and they protesters go through this. This is not an isolated case. So Alaska, as part of a larger way, ACOSO, that has been the modus operandi, that has been the trump card. Just to intimidate people, to frustrate people to the extent say you will not express your views. As a fashion with the men can't because and we can sit here and catalog instances a lot of journalists yabuomo yabubinmo kuomo meswale ni na se fonum and now from besin the nipo okunu yenim anasa over the years President Akufo-Addo convinced Ghanaians say Ono a very peaceful man and Oba or fighting corruption. He is committed to the fight against corruption. Oba or adopted Anas principle Alaska. Under him, where is Anas now? Anas has been bastardized, he has been demonized, he has been insulted, he just all sort of unholy your friend is an allegation, you are castigating against this young man in his quest, in his little way to ensure to fight corruption. And Anas in our political dispensation has become quite irrelevant. People don't even talk about him. But this is a president who assured us to employ the Anas principle to help us fight corruption. Alaska. And the corruption, like a East African market, a bazaar. Oh yes. Corruption bazaar muna yena mean.
Like East African
market bazaar. Just say obiya ya di ope or obiya ya di ope.
For all.
At the presidency, at the heart of the presidency, corruption is there. At the lower level, everywhere. Now let's go. Yet your my bola su minister to me $1 million question them. Asikano, and yes, they shall group more than baby. Was Naduku no chichire no their sham pass or chichire because the special prosecutor report not by Utiebi or Sikano one rapper in small bit and or the shisha polity would be a baby. Now when you're cromfoa, that's a Sikania would the Sika wa Brenya Alaska. Obet Sikano politan bag him that she says with them. But this is what this woman has done. And in the face of all these things, what would the Akoso? And not as if nothing has happened because Alaska Makato said people somewhere, leaders elsewhere have suffered for far lesser cause and far lesser reason than the yeti who you. None may catch you say Boris Johnson, they see your resign in UK, far lesser than what is happening. But establishment in a behavior say nothing has happened. The youth should go quiet. But Alaska, we've gotten to a point that fortunately, no, because of the new media, because of this, your friend is saying social media, new technology, people are becoming increasingly informed. Gone well the days are you say people are gullible. A man for becoming emotional when it comes to making political decisions and choices. And a man for read they analyze, they listen to others, and out of that, and they're able to make informed political choices and informed decisions. So time has come and the African youth have started asking questions. I don't see a branch away. No, then the year ahind then or motu obi dying chen like obit say Eugene ahin. Then the year at Nayiri bow when chen Nasifi all of a sudden. all of a sudden now buying back power when you see card in to the extent that Najapade na mention here in their suit, you know, you can imagine the number of things that we know here Alaska, and this guy has the infantry to say me you could see mosque the ache, me you could see police station, and nobody is asking where they got those wealth from. This is the country we live in. So the youth are now enlightened to a level where they are asking these questions. First, now people just jump to the street and celebrate people all because they have money. But today the question is, where did you get that money from, Mr. Politician? Because anymore, a brand now in your politics. People and making money when you later they will come back and tell you, "Madam, about brown and I say, Alaska." That is the sick reality. I tell you, because people are becoming increasingly informed, you know, the youth are beginning to ask questions and they really want to be part of the larger decision-making process. Because Alaska, the echo of my mubiano, decision be a because of parliament, decision be a buying beteki, decision be a ubia beteki at the government level, at everywhere be an Alaska. Do you know Nipa matter most? The youth. Exactly. Because those decisions, you know, have far-reaching consequences on their lives. Because Nipa won't take a decision looking at their age. Some of them will fail to obscurity very soon. But the policies need decisions. Like, for instance, Obi Kobabusi and so forth. The implications are far reaching, and it will impact hugely on the lives of these people, especially yet your Maimo Sabi. Or minor Japan United, the CCC come Alaska is the youth. The burden is on the youth. That is why you see, say, there is certain energy in the ordinary and the African youth. And people are amping, asking questions. So we are buying now. When you say you employ police and turn this whole thing into a police state, use the police as a terror arm of government and use it to terrorize the people and use it to intimidate people, Alexa, trust me, you will not survive. And it is proven sufficiently. So I have sub-region her president almost sorry Alaska, one of the strong men in Africa, Alaska, when people started revolting in his own country, no, in the end, no, or heaven. Alaska, so whenever you are in power, you should be smart enough to know that power is quite transient. Very soon you leave it and go. But the kind of impact, the kind of legacy you leave, you know, and then I'm on for the back. What do you think, Zenra? We committed the whole day celebrating in Nkrumah. Do you think Zena Nkrumah is billionaire?
Because of the legacy.
Do you think Zena Nkrumah was catching Ubia? Nkrumah see 21 houses were Legon.
No.
Or see 21 houses is Legon. Because of the lasting legacy, the kind of imprint he left on the minds of people. That is why people were celebrating yesterday. So it is about the legacy you built. It's never about the money. It's never about properties. It's never about anything. But here, no, people are not interested in those things. The very foundations of our democracy, our institutions, and Nipa have decided, say, you see a 2 to compromise almost every single state institution. Now, can electoral commission now not in some phone in some the deputies say bossman asara baba until Bekasa. Now you say or your doctor now be say Dr. Baby or herbal doctor now say or your veterinary doctor because
of a native doctor.
Alaska who be say or your different kind of doctor because Alaska as somebody who has gone through academia man for free say why research one analyze a lot of things in Alaska will make sense at least reflect it in the summer walker. He's telling people say about to by force.
That's right.
This is a deputy electoral commissioner.
Now by force
this is an deputy electoral commissioner. And he understands the electoral process. He understands what is involved. Now how critical and crucial it is, and why the Constitution has made it possible, say, or confer certain rights on the average Ghanaian or your sound 18 years on to a banner. He's telling you about to by force. Alaska, what you as an analyst or as a journalist, you can sit here and make such statement. But Obi Alaska, whenever you make such statement, what compromise your position, what it means in this Alaska, there's a way here to ensure that people register because the conviction is that after all, I said no be never to about. So there will be no motivation. So explaining why Electoral Commission has adopted this measure. So Alaska, of mine your team no. It is not as if say people are pretending. It is not as if say a man for a high anti-government sentiment and then as a forbidden, but the reality back on in this Alaska and the establishment that promised Ghanaians over solve your problems, has turned out to be a huge problem, a burden on our Ghana for a carry, and it is so heavy that Ghana for entering Caribbean. And the only thing they can do is say, omo grievances. You expect government and the establishment to listen to their concerns and address them, even if you are so incompetent, if you are so gullible, if you are so useless and clueless. So won't mean Alaska. Just listen to the people as much as you can, no? Address the many concerns or more express it. And for that one, no crowd, I'm for them a pat at the back. But where the or country was Alaska, I drain no crown won't mention it. And we are talking about demonstrators are Obian who offer to offer second. Alaska Macachos here, your whole protest there course so I was Senegal as several other places. A man for the Ojasa kind and as a for TSC Krum chasing people. Now they see our Maya and I crash ye. Na omokoda omo president swimming pool ni na se fo ni.
That's right.
Meka omo na meka kire Alaska.
Sri Lanka.
Among folk occupying the presidency. Omoko and the president and panel na se fo, they went there in a violent way. But here people have decided say even the decision wasn't even to go into the Flagstaff household. Because say office of the president, the security will not allow entry.
Sure.
But people can cluster around. And these are people, violent and also say. So Alaska, the least government can do is to tolerate the views of these people and respect. Say indeed, or paso na sabi anyamwa na osho muso. Na sa wo paso. You listen to them, you listen to their concern. Because my culture said until recently, now Kufuor was just an ordinary man, just gallivanting on the streets of Accra.
Seriously.
Are guided by macho men, those men, no. But when Ghanaians decided to give him their power, their way, no, Alaska, the might of the state has been committed to him, and this man has turned around to use the same power to terrorize the people, and it's exactly what he's doing. So Alaska, so we heard the rhetorics out there, in some or read this statement in some woman as a for. Now we just oppose and as a mirror against happenings on the ground, and then you begin to ask yourself a lot of questions. Ghana, are we really democratic? Because that is the question I was asking yesterday. Say your journey, say you're democratizing. We didn't hope say yeah, Bible drew a point where we be sorry in a democratic country. Sabi, we be sorry say yeah, my one chira wadwen ya babo police for be two any police for be twelve form police for do be kwa share. That's a counter back and then for without any due course and then as for or be explaining anything to you. Yenim say we live in a decent democratic dispensation. Sabi, yeah, that you bear the torchlight so far democracy is concerned.
Right.
You lead the way. Come my country say Ghana, your independence, and 1957 and Nkrumah lead, he could have decided say okay, Ghana and a country independence. All other African countries can go to hell. But he didn't end there. He felt to say the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked with the total liberation of Africa. That is why he went step further to inspire other African countries. And America said 10 years after Ghana independence, now Nkrumah has been able to inspire other 31 other African countries on what gaining independence. Now all hope is and Kayan so you bet me form some kind of an alliance, a union like what the United States of America, various states joining together to form the United States of America, and Africa with our vast resources in as a form, at least coming together as a United States of Africa. No, the resources are your America only have, because all the natural resources plus the human factor, the human resource, so putting all these things together, no, and can Africa engineer by the greed in as a for, and ya claw back to our individual state, hoping saying that the little resources na your Alaska. Betim de develop young crew for Tisikrum and Rantia Behuma Akraketwa 21 years. Alaska now open that dear also or turn dear. When you see those people, just look at their face. Frustration. Now besides anti talent Ben and I crowd way more. What me trophy in the moment Niger Abagana say or to turn dear go.
Now
Dadio. Ocean and 9 years for my Alaska. Enya de ketwa because wanantia man na na is table no you like prayer. Alaska, that is the suffering going on the continent. When you see them they are useless, you see them, but they had hopes, they had dreams just like you and I,
right? But
because of bad governance and bad leadership, all these things have been taken away from them. Some cannot even live in their own country. They have to leave and come here and suffer them more. So Alaska, time has come. So the political narrative in Africa must change, and that is what the youth are asking for. And this asking is not going to end here. It's not going to end tomorrow. It is going to continue forever until the right turn is done on our motherland.
Ivan J. Innocent, an activist and a researcher. Mikami Wabasisia.
Now security you have found wa hefa. Wo adwuma pa o. Me dey me so beba no wa ja. Na no da branya me anya do man ka kromfo be wi am.
Ampa no me dey say wasio. Me ko fa no Element Security Limited. No mo brante no e bo adwuma pa. E ba no electronic security consultant, investigation unit, rapid response, event security. Na say you mo fie ho ba. E no dey enko ho kra. Also, police patrol backup, CCTV installation and monitoring, jungle security. Anybody here, person, about by now here.
And you're ready to tell me one more to the